How's everybody doing? We are getting together here for another reworked. I know it's been a minute since you heard from the Pinhoti Project, but we're still around, we're still kicking. Got a little distracted. Pinhoti Project headquarters shuffled a little bit, so we've been moving a little more than just cameras here lately. And NWTF convention, had a blast. Those of you that made it out to that, shook my hand, that's awesome. Calling competition, kind of monopolized a little of our time before that, trying to yelp on those yelpers a little bit. Got up there and them boys licking their fingers and shaking hands, and got a little scratch in the throat and all that good stuff. Lips are chapped, but we had a good time. If you see me what looks like staring off in space, I got two cameras set up here along with a little camera like always, so y'all can watch the video. So I think I do anyways. He's trying to act a fool on me. But anyhow, got several different cameras. I'm figuring I should probably try them both out and make sure I know how to work both of them before I get down there and get to kicking around with these turkeys. So anyhow, I feel like Chad Clay come in here with all these different lenses and microphones and stuff pointed at me, but I feel like that's what his turkeys feel like when he comes through there. But anyways, that old boy can get some good footage. Let's get on to some reworks here, or a reworked. How about that? I don't think there's a whole lot to do with this reworked. I'm going to mention a few things, but all you guys, there was a bunch of you asked about this particular day here, so I thought we might glimpse at it real quick. So I don't expect this to be a real long reworked. So anyways, it's day 20 and 21, basically day 21, which is when we killed the turkey right by the road. Had the fellow drive by us and almost screwed it up, but he didn't. But anyways, we can jump into it. Got the little camera set up here just like we always do. Just to kick it off, and it goes hand in hand with this particular hunt here. So I said something a long time ago, 3 or 4 years ago, and it made sense to me, but it took some explaining for some other folks. Everybody's always got this debate about whether which is harder to kill, a public land turkey or a private land turkey, you know, whatever. And my simple explanation was, my take on the whole situation was, a public land turkey is no harder to kill than a private land turkey. They're still just both turkeys. They do the same things. They want the same things. They eat the same things. They talk the same way. So they're not some magical creature if they live on public land that knows more and is smarter, whatever. But that being said, I made the comment that killing a public land turkey is no harder than killing a private land turkey, but killing a turkey on public land is more difficult. Not because of the turkey, because of those outside influences, those other obstacles you gotta hurdle when you're dealing with public land turkeys a lot of times. So that's what I mean by that. When you're dealing with public land, you've got such situations like we did this morning where you've got more hunters and they've got just as much right to chase that turkey as you do. So there's those hurdles that you have to cross with public land turkeys. The turkey itself is no harder to kill than anywhere else. And then you can find some places where public land is virtually private land because you don't see anybody. But southeast, that's hard to find, obviously. But anyways, that's my take on that. I figured that would come up. And I always hear somebody say, well, my hunting club, my private land gets just as much hunting pressure as any public land. I have 8 good turkey hunters on my private. Well, you need to get some more private land. If you paying a lease and you hunting against 8 other good turkey hunters, or just a good turkey hunter, then I don't know what you paying them dues for, because I wouldn't be doing it. Anyhow, we can go ahead and get into this episode here of a reworks. For those that don't know what reworks are, it's an instructional look at a particular day of the Pinhoti Project. And if you haven't watched the Pinhoti Project, jump on the channel, look back. That's the actual hunts. That's when you get to relive everything top to bottom. But this is just an instructional look. We're going to hop through the video here right off YouTube and look at some of the decisions we made and calling styles or whatever that we seems to come up here. So first and foremost, on this particular hunt, sometimes you just get doggone lucky. And that's what happened here. We were headed into a spot, had about a 20-25 minute walk, going to get up on top and do a lot of listening. It was breezy this morning, so we were trying to get over this ridge top, but as we got out of the truck, this turkey screams, and about 20 minutes before turkeys had been gobbling, 15 to 20 minutes before even the earliest turkeys had been let loose, so he was gobbling in the dark. And boy, I like when I find one in the mood that wants to gobble in the dark. And that's what happened here. We knew we were dancing with fire, because when you set up on a turkey this easily accessible right by the road, you're just asking to get something messed up, somebody bumped the turkey, whatever. We knew we were dancing with fire there. But when a turkey's screaming at you and he's that doggone close, and you can use the cover of darkness to be super aggressive on your setup, man, it's just hard to just walk away from him gobbling. So we couldn't do it, and glad we didn't. So anyways, we can do some audio here. Let's let you.
He ain't far off the road. He's probably gonna come down in the road. Let's go. Before it gets daylight, we can get across here before it gets daylight. You think? We'll walk right across.
You can hear Chubbs. Let's go. He gets that. He gets that
It's
antsy.
dark as heck. It's shining over here. I need to see what number that is. About that one. He ain't far in the woods. No, you're right on the road.
You can hear us just talking about how close he is on the road, and you can hear it. And there he is. Ooh, I can't wait for that this spring. You can tell, I mean, that turkey's close already, and we just left the truck. So, and you hear how frantic we are in our voice and how surprised we are. Like, just continuously saying that turkey's right by the truck. So, anyways, what we do is, it's something we often do. You've watched us, if you watched the Pinhoti Project, we're extremely aggressive on setups a lot of times. Like, if we can get within 100 yards of that turkey, we'll a lot of times take it to the ground, and we will belly crawl, or, you know, we'll do whatever we got to do to close the distance. Because if the way I see it, if that's 1 yard that we can cover that he don't have to cover, more the merrier. And getting into those situations to where when he shows himself, he's in shotgun range, and we can finish the deal. So we're extremely aggressive on this setup. So aggressive to where, I mean, it's using the cover of darkness, and it's windy. You can hear that in the video and see it in the video. And basically, I take it to the ground, and every time that wind blows, and I know he's shaking around in that pine limb, I'm making a little progress there, moving a little closer to him. And I've got a tree between he and I, from what I can tell, just using it by sound. I haven't laid my eyes on him yet, but inch by inch, every time that wind blows, we're sneaking in closer and closer and being aggressive, using that wind and using the wind to cover our sound, and the wind to, you know, when he's dancing around on that limb, you know, it's just like when you're walking. You'll hear something when you're walking, but you can't pinpoint it. Same deal with turkeys, or at least the way I think it is. When they're dancing on that limb, you know, you can get away with it a little bit. So we took advantage of that. Let's see here, and we get in really close, so close that when it got daylight, good in daylight, I picked him out on the limb, and Chubbs had him on the limb in the camera, as you saw, or you will see here in a second, and I'm sure you've already saw if you've watched the video here, and if you haven't, you need to go back and watch it, because a lot of this ain't gonna make sense to you. But right about here is when things got a little fishy. Turkey, everything's going well, turkey's gobbling like crazy, and we ain't made a sound to him. And this happens. They even put it across the screen. You can hear a truck slowly rolling down the gravel road. You hear that gravel popping. That is not a good sign, or it's not a good sound. Especially when you got one this close to the road. You hear that gravel like pop, 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 pop. Yo, that's a bad sound. But that happens, and this dude, you can't see it on the camera, but this guy rides right behind us. I'm talking close. And this one's in plain sight of this turkey. No doubt about it. And he sees it, but he's almost used to the road traffic, I guess. He doesn't, you know, pay a whole lot of attention. I think he gobbles somewhere right here, because there it is. What happened there is this dude rode past us. Then he went on down the road a little, or went right past us, and I heard him pull over. And when he went past us, I thought we were okay, because I knew when he got past us, he was going to see our truck, because it was parked on that side of us. I figured we were okay. But then the dude shut the truck off, and about the time he shut the truck off was when that turkey gobbled, and I knew we might have an issue. And sure enough, we had an issue. The turkey gobbled, and believe it or not, the guy cranks the truck back up and drives on. I'm thinking he saw our truck, he heard the turkey gobble, he's put 1 and 2 together. He's going to move on and give us a little space. So I still get nervous though, and I jump. Oh, we're right on it here. I think I am. Let me see here. Oh, here it is, right here. Right here. I know what I'm doing. So a few minutes later, I think it's about 5, 8 minutes later, something like that, I do this because I'm ready. It's daylight enough. He's gobbling. He's antsy. I'm wanting him. You can see he's facing away from us. I want him to spin on that limb a little bit. So I'm going to wait for that wind to blow, and I'm going to cluck at him a couple times. Ooh, look at that head looking up. He heard that, and his composure just changed. He's gobbling, he's antsy, and I waited till he had those back feathers lifted up a little bit, because you got to consider Chubb's a little bit uphill from me and about 20 yards behind me. I'm a little bit more down in the bottom, so that old boy had his back feathers raised up to cover his head, and that wind was blowing, and that's when I clucked at him, and you can see him raise that head up a little bit, and he turned to look at me, and I clucked at him again, and that's what, boy, he heard it, and he knew what that was. And so I made sure I did that when his head was covered, when he wasn't on full alert. You don't want to do that, especially when you're within eyesight of them, when they can get a good look at exactly where that sound came from. You want them to be distracted almost, you know, the wind blowing, them looking another way, them going into strut, something to distract them from being able to pin you down exactly. We went on through to about right here. Look at him looking right here. I just clicked at him. You hear Chubb say, "Do it again." I just noticed this thing's got a glare on it bad. There we go. That's a little better. He knew where I was at. I was just a little bit nervous because he was still facing the wrong way on the tree. But I had kind of done all I could do with being that close. We bounce on up here just a little bit further to right here. Gobbler appears to get nervous. You see it, look at that head right here. It goes up, he folds them wings, and everybody knows if a gobbler folds his wings, ain't nothing good about that. And let's pay attention to that head color as well. Where it was brilliant, you had a big white cap earlier when he was gobbling a lot, that color just fades. It just turns dull red. Man, that just means when he loses that color in that head and it turns like a fall gobbler, that dull red color usually means problems, and that's exactly what he's getting nervous. And that head starts coming up. He starts doing a lot of craning. See that head craning up there? He's getting nervous. He sees something's not right, and I can't tell what it is because I'm locked in on him, and I don't want to. I obviously can't turn my head around, but I know something's not right. He's got his head up and he's dancing around up there. And then we figure out why he got nervous. Because remember, I said that road was in plain sight that old boy drove down just a while ago. And that is a gentleman that, like I think Kenny said, Chubbs, that truly needs to practice his calling. You've heard us preach it a many a times. Calling is not everything. Like, calling is 10% or less of the whole equation most of the time. But man, it helps to be at least competent, to at least be able to sound somewhat like a turkey, to not alarm turkeys, to be able to know what to say and when to say it. And this dude, first off, walks right up a wide open road. It's early season. You can see forever. He just heard the turkey gobble. He does not have the cover of darkness, and then makes that kind of racket. So the turkey loses that color and basically just nestles back down on that limb. And we're watching all this. I mean, he's dull red. I mean, you can see that old head is just nothing like it was just a few minutes before. I mean, it's just as dull as a fall gobbler there. And he's nervous. I see that head craning around there. Anyways, I mean, yeah, man, just I understand, you know, you don't have to be a competition caller. You don't have to be able to, you know, do the perfect Jake Yelps and do a Kiki run that would put Matt Van Sice to shame. You don't need to do all that type of stuff, but being competent can really have its advantages. And then you see this old boy just, he wasn't. He made some awful sounds on that call. I got a lapse time 22 minutes because that old boy clammed up. He didn't gobble again. He turned and essentially we're just watching him on the limb. Let's bounce up to right here because the old boy couldn't get him to gobble at that box call yelping. He jumps on with this. First time I've ever heard a crow go, oh! Now, they don't do that. Anyways, I don't guess you have to be a competent crow caller to get this done. But anyways, old boy couldn't get him to gobble at a box call, so he thought maybe he'd get him to shot gobble. I don't know what he planned on doing after he shot gobbled since he couldn't get him to gobble at a box call, but that's not for me to ask, I don't guess. But long story short, the old boy comes in within eyesight of this turkey. I would say within 100, 125 yards. I know the turkey could see him because I know the road he was walking up is wide open, white-topped road. So the turkey gets nervous, but it just goes to prove that you don't need to give up on situations, and it was really unique that you could actually watch this turkey's response to all of this, which was he just clammed up and squatted on that limb, got a dull head, and essentially just attempted to disappear. He sure didn't fly down during all that stuff. So, right here, here the old boy walked back to his truck, which at this point he had parked beside us, and drives back by. I guess he got his feelings hurt when that old turkey. And you see that turkey up on that limb right there. He looks, he watches all that happen. He's looking, standing upright on that limb now. He's just taking it all in. He ain't no dummy. But his head's still dull red. And you can see him looking down even right now. I mean, he's starting to get situated on that limb, flapping them wings. And here we are about 19 minutes later and he hadn't moved. He got resituated on that limb and didn't move a muscle. Kind of just squatted down there. And that's the way he stayed for I don't know how long, another 15 minutes or something like that. He stayed squatted on that limb without doing much of anything. But you can look right there. You can tell he kind of just went into like a quarter strut. And that's when I watched him do that, I thought he's getting back. Look at the color. Starting to come back in his wattles there. You can see as soon as he starts strutting the head, and there he comes down. Here we go, boys. We got him. And you got to watch all that unfold. That's what made this whole thing unique, was just being able to see that interaction with the turkey and the pressure and how he responded to it by basically just clamming up. A lot of the times, if you feel like you've bumped a turkey, it's went out of the country, it's not responding, it's Lord knows where, that joker's probably just holding tight and not talking because he knows how to survive. Let's see, and I don't know why this camera quit filming here, but you know, and that's it. I don't have a whole lot else to say about that whole hunt. It was just a really unique situation to be able to have a camera on that turkey and watch his response to all that pressure. You know, just be persistent, I guess, is a suggestion there. Like when that turkey's not gobbling because he's found that pressure's hit him, the turkey's still there. You go in there to one day and a guy comes in on you and bumps a turkey, or you bump the turkey, don't think the turkey is gone forever. Like, those turkeys survive that stuff day in and day out. So, you know, they're still there. Let's see. We dance around. We talk about several things after this hunt. We didn't get to do a whole long cigar celebration because this was a work day, and this turkey had obviously kept us tied to them trees for about an hour and a half longer than we needed to be there. So we were late to work this day. Let's see, I had something, let's see, right about, I figured y'all enjoyed this. I just thought I'd just call your attention back to it. This old poor turkey here, he ain't been dead, but, Lord, he ain't been dead, but mere minutes. And listen to old Chubbs here. A mere minutes this old gobbler's been dead, and listen to old Chubbs.
I hate I couldn't get the turkey on camera, but when he landed that close, all I could do is just
Lock up.
just say, here we go.
Not to mention there was so much trash at the base
Hey,
of that
we
tree.
might as well eat some of him later this evening.
Y'all hear that?
Might as well.
Yeah.
I'm afraid it might be a little, had to hold a little low because he was tight.
Old Chubbs already thinking about cutting him up and eating him, and he ain't been dead but for a few minutes. Leave it to Chubbs. Already talking about cutting that old poor turkey up. And then, of course, like you saw in a couple or a few of the hunts, this is
crawl, or means crop. It is full of whole kernel corn.
And man, that's just the nature of the beast, I guess, man. You just got to get used to it. I see it every year hunting public land, every doggone year. And this is one of those situations. That turkey obviously got into corn the evening before somewhere, and I'm assuming it's somewhere somewhat close. We weren't really close to any private at this particular spot, so I don't know where the corn was. I never found corn in this particular spot, which I never went back after this hunt. Actually, we did the next day. We went back and we got bombarded with pressure again, and that caused us to cash out on that area for the rest of the season. But anyway, man, the corn deal, there's nothing you can do about it, I don't guess, so there's no reason to harp on that. But anyways, another rework's going to be coming at you. I'll push this one out probably tomorrow, hopefully, and hope y'all like it. Give me some suggestions. If not, you guys stay tuned. Hopefully I can push some more push more of these out pretty quickly, so get ready. I'm thinking we're fixing to start shooting a lot of these reworks, getting them rolled out. Turkey season starts Friday, so going to be going down to Florida's youth season. So I'm going to be doing a lot of these. It's really going to work out because I'll be hooking up with squirrel down there within a week and a half or so, and that's going to work out to those Kentucky hunts everybody had so many questions about. So I was wanting to kind of collab with Squirrel on that since he was there to get his take on some of the decisions we made and moves we made and the tactics we used to kill them turkeys in that nasty weather and that hilly country. So anyways, y'all stay tuned. I think there's fixing to be a lot of videos rolling out on the Pinhoti Project channel here. So y'all go buy a hat and a couple shirts to fund the project. See you.